I've got fabric and lots of it, so grab yourself a cup of tea or a glass of wine and join me for today's video. Hey Stitchers, your girl Chris here. Welcome or welcome back to my channel on social, where it's totally cool to be obsessed with sewing and with fabric. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my latest fabric haul. Do not judge me, just don't. I grabbed myself, I want to say at least maybe 40 yards of fabric. That would be my guess. I'm actually going to do the math and figure out just how much fabric I have added to my stash, but my wild guess is about 40 yards of fabric. Now clearly I have a problem, and I think that Abeds needs to give me a loyalty card. Now if you don't know what Abeds is, it is a fabric store located in Barbados. I visited earlier this year and late last month, and I could not go to Barbados and not grab myself a couple extra pieces for my stash. Alright, maybe not a couple, but you guys get the drift. Now, in addition to the fabric, I was also able to meet up with two of my sewing sisters. I was able to meet with Carol, who you probably are familiar with already if you have been watching my videos for any amount of time. I introduced her to you in my last fabric haul video from Barbados. And this time I was also able to meet Kira of the Island Socialist. I'll put her handle down in the description box so that you can go and find her as well. Now when I met Kira, she gave me a gift, you guys. Who doesn't like to receive gifts? Now for my gifts, she gave me two handmade pairs of earrings. This happens to be one of them. Let me draw closer so you guys can see just how beautiful these earrings are. She made them herself. She has a business called Clayed Up. I think it's called Clayed Up in Barbados. So if you are in Barbados, then absolutely be sure to go ahead and check her out. She makes beautiful earrings. Now, in addition to that one, she also gifted me another pair. I have not worn this pair just yet, and they look like this. Aren't these gorgeous? Now I love myself some pink, and I was super stoked to see the pink mixed with the gold in this pair of earrings, and I'm going to treasure them indefinitely. So thank you very much, Kira, for my earrings. I really do love them, and as I said, I am absolutely going to treasure them. Now in addition to these earrings, Kira also gave me a piece of fabric, because we're seamstresses, aren't we? So obviously fabric makes the perfect gift. Now this fabric looks like this. I really do like it. It's very interesting. It's probably not something that I would have gravitated to myself, but I already pictured what I want this to become. I think that this will make for a beautifully shirred maxi dress. Something about the print on it I think will take nicely to that shirred effect, and the fabric is quite lightweight, so I think that it will shirr up quite nicely. So right off the bat, I have in mind to make a shirred dress with this fabric. Now I considered making the Love Notions Temple sundress. That piece has elastic in the back, but I can always hack it to have shirring instead of elastic, and I can hack it to make it into a maxi dress as well. I'm not sure if that's the pattern that I'll end up going with, but at this moment, that is the pattern that I have in mind. Now, in case you don't know, I am a Love Notions ambassador. You can check in the description box for my ambassador code, which will save you 10% off your purchase. So if you're going to purchase from Love Notions, then I will be grateful if you considered using that code. So fabric number one, a gift from my girl Island Socialist, along with my beautiful earrings. Thank you so much again, Kira. I really do appreciate these gifts. Now fabric number two is a printed linen fabric. I loved it. I set my eyes on this fabric and I said, you know what, I have to have it. It was funny because I had already gone to the cutting table to cut my fabrics and then to proceed to the checkout. And I went back to take one more look around the store, and I came across this fabric, and then I just grabbed the entire bolt and headed back to the cutting table. And it is this printed linen right here. This I just thought was gorgeous. I love the flowers on it. I love the vibrancy of the colors on it. I love the fact that it is linen fabric. Oh, I really love this piece. Now, when I picked it up, I did think I want to make a skirt with it. So I think I got maybe 2¼ or 2½ yards because I had in mind to make a gathered skirt with this fabric. Again, I'm not sure if it's actually going to become a skirt, but in my mind, this fabric is destined to become a skirt, and I want to pair it with a blouse made up in this fabric right here. I cannot remember what the substrate of this one is. It is very soft and very, very drapey, so I think it will make for a very nice blouse that will pair beautifully with this fabric. What do you guys think of this combination? This printed fabric in the skirt and this solid color in the blouse. Now, I very rarely buy solid fabrics. I really do gravitate to prints, but I feel like prints have taken over my wardrobe and I don't have anything to mix my prints with, and so I end up usually making dresses out of my printed fabric because then I don't have to pair it with anything else. But I do want to move towards making some more separates for my wardrobe, and so I think that means I need to start buying some plain fabrics. It's so hard for me to do, but I really do need to push myself this year to buy some plain fabrics so that I can work them into my wardrobe in separate pieces. So again, a skirt and a blouse. Now, the next fabric I want to share with you is this one. Now, this one is a departure from the norm because it's not technically in my colors. Now, I did have my colors professionally done. If you're interested in knowing all about that, I'll pop the link to the video that I shared here on YouTube right here and down in the description box so you can go and check it out for yourself. Now, I am a Your Color Guru ambassador as well, and it means I can offer you a 10% discount code on any color consultation. So if you were minded to get your colors professionally done, then I would absolutely recommend checking out Your Color Guru, and again, using my code, which is on social. I'll put it here on the screen so that you can see it easily. That will save you guys 10% off on your order, and of course it will give me a small commission that goes right back into the running of this channel and the buying of more fabric. Let's be honest, you guys. Buying fabric and notions so I can sew pretty things and share with you right here on YouTube. So again, if that is something that you are interested in, then I would be grateful if you considered using my code. Anyway, enough about that, back to the fabric. So what I was saying is, this fabric is not technically in my colors, but I loved it. Like, I really, really, really loved it. You can probably guess already what kind of print it is. If you have been here for any time, you know that I have a slight obsession with animal print fabrics, and so I bought it. Even though it's outside of my colors, I bought it. So this is the fabric right here. Oh, like, isn't this gorgeous, you guys? Like, look at this print. It looks like a sort of like zebra print. And oh, I just loved it. Now, the navy blue is on my color chart, but the sort of like burnt orangey color, not burnt orange color. What is this color? Is this like a paprika color? I don't know. Whatever it is, it has a sort of orangey color on it, and it is on a cream base. Now, for my colors, I am meant to wear stark white, like a very bright, crisp white color, and not so much the creams. But again, I really love this fabric, and I could not resist. And it is a rayon fabric, so it has very nice weight to it, very nice drape to it, and I think it will make for an amazing dress. I don't know yet what I want it to become, but I feel like everything makes for a good dress, and so don't be surprised if sometime soon you see this fabric made up on this channel as a dress, or maybe even a pair of floaty trousers, because you guys know that I'm now getting into trouser sewing, now that I kind of have an idea of the basic fit adjustments that I need to make to my trouser pattern. If you missed any of the hype, I'll leave a video here or maybe here about the sewing of my 2 trousers. I think they were the Segura trousers and the Foxy Boxies. So if you're interested in that, then I'll pop them in here so that you can go ahead and check that out. But of course, finish watching this video first. Now, the next fabric I want to share with you. It is super, super hot here, but you guys, at this point in my life, I think I'm actually addicted to tea. Like, when I went away, I wasn't having as many cups as I usually have, and I had a migraine my entire trip. Oh my goodness. So, I mean, who doesn't love tea? Like, who doesn't love tea? Next fabric. So the next fabric is this one right here. I think this is a bubble crepe, if I'm not mistaken. And look at how beautiful it is in this black and gold. Now again, gold is not my metal of choice. Sorry, scratch that. Gold is my metal of choice, but based on my color analysis, silver or white gold is more flattering on me. However, I already own so much yellow gold and I'm not about to get rid of it. I don't wear a lot of costume jewelry because it tends to like aggravate my skin. So there's no way in hell I'm giving up my gold jewelry. Sorry, you're a color guru, but I'm not agreeing with you with that one. And I still gravitate to a lot of gold. And so this black and gold fabric is just right up my alley. I made a Sicily slip dress using fabric that I had gotten on my last Barbados fabric haul. I'll pop the link into that one right here. And I loved the Sicily slip dress. Listen, I loved it. It is one of my favorite makes of all time. And now I feel like every silky print fabric or every bubble crepe fabric should just become a Sicily slip dress. In reality, I do not have anywhere to wear all of these slip dresses, but listen, that is all that I thought about when I saw this fabric. It is gorgeous. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So the next fabric I'm going to share with you guys is this one. I think this one is also a rayon, and I got this one in these blues and greens. I feel like I'm gravitating a lot more to green since having my colors done. Before I had my colors done, green was nowhere on my radar. I didn't buy green. I didn't like green. It wasn't really a color that I identified with. But since I had my colors done, I made that hack of the McCall's 7543, I think that's the number, for last year's pattern hackathon. And I loved how this dress looked on me. And I chalk it up to one, being the type of dress, but two, the color. And I got so many comments on just how beautiful the color was on my skin. And since that moment, I have been gravitating much more to green fabrics. Now, talking about the pattern hackathon, before we go into detail about this pattern on my lap, I did just finish hosting Pattern Hackathon Season 2. It was incredible, you guys. I'll drop videos in here and down in the description box so you can get all caught up on what Pattern Hackathon is and to meet my incredible ambassadors. It really was a good time. Throughout the month of July, we got so many entries and I was just blown away by the love and support that I got for Season 2. And so I'm thinking about coming back next year, July, again for Season 3. So again, if you're curious what I'm on about, be sure to go ahead to those videos so that you can get all caught up. Now back to the fabric. Now this gorgeous rayon fabric, I just love this fabric. Again, it looks like an abstract animal print type of fabric, and these blues and greens are more suited to my color scheme. The yellow is not, but it's so minute in this fabric, I don't even care because I really do love the rest of it. Again, the first thing I thought about when I got this fabric was another dress, of course. I think I got 3 yards of this one, and I just think it's beautiful. It's nice and floaty, which means it will make for a nice gathered dress with lots of movement. I don't know exactly yet what it will become. If you guys have any ideas, be sure to drop them down below in the comment section. But don't you agree that this fabric is just delicious? Like, look at it. It's gorgeous. In addition to this one, I think I got this one in another colorway as well. So I'm going to share that with you. Let me just dig in my bag for that one. So this is another colorway I think is the same fabric. If not, it is very, very similar. And it looks like this, but this one is with pinks and reds. Again, I really am fond of this like abstract animal print kind of vibe. This fabric is nice and soft. It has lovely drape to it. And so once again, maybe another dress, or maybe I can make a skirt set with it. Maybe a skirt and a blouse, or a skirt and a cami. That way I can have 2 pieces out of this fabric. We'll see when I go to cut it out whether I have enough for whatever it is that comes to mind to be made up in this beauty. Now, actually, I think I have a third colorway in this pattern. I'm looking into my bag from where I'm sitting, and it looks like this fabric might be the same as those other 2 fabrics, but again in different colors. Now this one is blues and purples and pinks and a little bit of green, and again It's just gorgeous. It is just gorgeous. And I really must like this print. If I have gotten it now in 3 different colorways. I don't think I realized that at the time of buying it, but now looking at them, they're absolutely the same fabric. Same softness, same drape, same sort of abstract animal print pattern. So whoop, whoop, whoop to me for having 3 different fabric colorways in the same print. Clearly, you guys, I have a problem with animal print, like clearly. All right, let's continue with the dig. So this one right here, Carol actually bought me 3 pieces of fabric even before I had gotten to Barbados. I wasn't sure if I was going to have the opportunity to go to the fabric store, and so she went ahead and bought me 3 different fabrics before I even got there. So I think I've showed you 2 of them already, and then there is this one as well that she picked up for me so that I could be guaranteed at least 3 pieces of fabric for my trip. Thankfully, I was able to go to the store myself, and so I've ended up with a ton load more of fabric than I anticipated, but I am super happy about all of my purchases. So this one is a blue floral fabric. It is again a rayon fabric. I think it has nice drape, it's nice and soft. It feels like the other 3 fabrics that I just showed you, but this one has like some large, well not large, maybe these are like medium-sized flowers on it. I haven't decided yet what this will become. I'm thinking that I can make something to wear to work out of this fabric because of the colors. It has this dark blue background, this navy blue background, and then the cream flowers, and I think that, well, the colors are definitely appropriate for my job, and so I think that maybe I can turn this into something that I can wear to work. Again, I have not given it too much thought, but look at how gorgeous this beauty is right here. No, I should stop and tell you that I already washed all of my fabric. I have like this big like I'm very anal about washing fabrics. I know some of you guys like skip the pre-washing of fabrics, but I just can't do it. Like I cannot do it. I sometimes end up washing my fabrics even more than once because I might forget that I washed it and then end up washing it again. And so now these days, when I buy fabrics, I tend to just wash them all before even adding them to my stash. Before, I would have added them to my stash, and then when I was ready to use them, then I would go ahead and wash them. But then I was second guessing myself whether some had been washed before, some had not been washed. And so no, buy my fabric, wash it, then add it to my stash. So I've already pre-washed this double gauze fabric in this gorgeous like apple green sort of color. I love this. As a matter of fact, is this apple green? Yeah, I think this is apple green. Whatever it is, I love this. This is gorgeous, and look at this on my skin, you guys. Isn't this gonna make for the most beautiful dress? Again, this is likely to become a dress. It is double gauze, and so with double gauze you want to make things that are kind of loose, just because double gauze sort of like stretches. It can stretch. Obviously it shrinks in the wash because of the type of material it is, but it is something that I think is best suited for something with a looser fit. Something that is very fitted, I don't think works very well with double gauze just because of the nature of the fabric, and so I already know that this is definitely going to become a loosey-goosey dress. I just don't know what pattern it is going to be just yet. Now, when I was folding this fabric, because I washed it and folded it, and now I'm unfolding it just to show you guys, so that means I must really love you guys, because I hate folding laundry. I will wash it, I will dry it, but when it comes to folding laundry, you guys, whew, like, can we just skip that? Unfortunately not. And so I have folded all my fabrics, but when I was folding my fabric, I noticed that this fabric looks like this. Now, I don't know if it came out of the store this way or whether it is as a result of washing and drying my fabric, and so I'm really annoyed with this patch because obviously that's eating into my yardage. However, thankfully it's not humongous, and so I can probably just cut around it. But you guys, please be careful when laundering your fabric. I'm gonna take it that it was laundering. I can't be sure that it came out of the store this way, and so I'm not gonna blame it on Abed's. I'm gonna blame myself and say maybe when I was washing it or drying it or something caught on it and did this to my fabric. But aside from this, this double gauze is beautiful. I love the feel of it. When I got introduced to double gauze last year when I made that 7543, I had never worked with it prior to that. And for some reason I decided I wanted to give it a try. and I loved it. And so I since then made the Clementine dress. That is a free dress pattern by Mood. It was the Soya View pattern for July, and it was hosted by my girl Diana at 26 by Diana, and so I had to support her by making up the Clementine dress, and I made it up in 3 different double gauze fabrics. Now I bought the double gauze on the last trip to Barbados, and I bought it in 3 different colorways, and I used all 3 colorways to make the Clementine dress. Now I did film some footage. If that video has already gone live, then I'll be sure to drop it in here or at least down in the description box so that you can run ahead and see that color blocked Clementine dress in double gauze fabric. If it has not yet gone live, then be sure to subscribe to this channel right here so that when it goes live, you don't miss out on that amazing creation that I made. So again, double gauze in this apple green color. All this talking, you guys, I can't stop sipping my tea. And it really is very, very, very hot. I'm not sure. I feel like I'm sweating. Like I can feel like my makeup is sweating. It is just so hot. Unfortunately, I can't put my fan on because if I do, then it's going to interfere with the sound of this video, and I need for you guys to hear me. And I'm not fortunate enough to have like central cooling or like an air conditioning system in my home. I do live in the Caribbean, and so maybe I need to invest in one. But you guys, the electricity bills in this part of the world are just... it's crazy, and I need to be able to feed my kids. So at the moment, that's a trade-off: feeding my kids or being cool. And at the moment, a fan and some natural breeze when we happen to get it just has to suffice. So please excuse me if my face is starting to look a mess under this heat. Now back to my fabrics. The other fabric that I got is this one. This is another floral print fabric. I think I'm gravitating more to floral print fabrics now. I don't think I bought a lot of them in the past, at least not that I can recall, but I feel like I'm gravitating more and more to floral prints, but the bigger scale floral prints as opposed to like those ditzy print fabrics. So this one again is blues and white fabrics, and I think that this is gorgeous. I don't know what the substrate is. I know it's not a rayon, at least I don't think it's a rayon. It feels more like a silky type. Maybe it's something with a polyester base. I'm not even quite sure. Usually I don't gravitate to like polyester type fabrics, but for some reason I really, really like this one. I'm not really sure what it is. Maybe I need to do, what is that called, the burn test, so that I can decipher what fabric this is. But whatever it is, it's gonna make for a gorgeous dress. It has some lovely, lovely drape, and I just love the colors and the print. So whatever it is, in due course, I'll figure it out. Next in my bag of tricks, I have this fabric right here. Now this one looks more like an abstract floral. Like you can make out that maybe some floral shapes, at least I think so. When I'm looking at it on the camera, it does seem to have like an abstract floral shape. It is pink. There are some oranges and some yellows in it. Oranges and yellows are not really my colors, but the pinks are. But something about this fabric was just gorgeous. It reminds me of a Caribbean sunset, and I just feel like I can make something amazing out of this fabric. I'm not sure what type of fabric it is. It is only printed on the one side, so whatever I make, I want to be sure that the back side of my fabric isn't showing. Now, you know, sometimes you make things with like flutter sleeves or like a high-low hem, and you can see the wrong side of the fabric. So something like this is not particularly suited for that type of make, unless you don't mind seeing this awful color at the back. And I do mind, so whatever I make, I'm going to have to be sure that I won't see the wrong side of the fabric in my finished garment. But what do you guys think of this fabric? And do you have any idea about what this one should become? Isn't it fantastic? Like, please tell me you agree that this fabric is fantastic. Now back into my bag of tricks. I also bought some white double gauze, plain white double gauze. It's just like the green one that I showed you, but again, this is white. Now, I don't tend to buy a lot of white fabrics, but white is one of my signature colors on my color card, and so I should wear more white. But geez, keeping white clean, especially with 2 kids around, is really like a day job. Like, it really is. And so I don't wear a lot of white for that purpose, but I feel like I can make this in the white, rock it a couple times. Hopefully I won't stain it, but once it starts to get like older and more worn in, then I can always consider dyeing it. I have dyed, I think, 1 or 2 pieces of fabric in the entire 6 years that I have been sewing, but I do have, I think, 2 bottles of Rit dye in my stash. One that is navy blue and another one that I think is like a pink shade. So if push comes to shove and I happen to mess up my fabric like further down the line, then I can always go back in and dye this one. Now there's one last piece of fabric that I picked up from Barbados that I am dying to show you. You guys, I bought myself some denim fabric. all right, it's just plain old denim fabric. What is the hype about, you might ask? This denim fabric has, I would describe it like a light to medium weight fabric. It's not the heaviest, so I don't know what the ounce is. I don't think I saw it on the bolt, but just from feeling it, it's not like one of those really heavy denim fabrics. And I bought this fabric with a particular project in mind. I want to go ahead and make a denim blazer. Like, I thought of the Jessica blazer in denim. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to use the Jessica blazer pattern. I've owned that pattern for years, you guys, and in fact I bought the course as well as the pattern way back when Closet Core first introduced like the Jessica blazer course. I had never made a blazer at that time before, and I thought that I could use the hand holding in terms of the technical construction of the blazer. But then I didn't end up making the Jessica blazer because there are so many pattern pieces for the Jessica blazer, and I felt like that project was just going to take forever. Now, back in my early days of sewing, I was much more concerned with getting through like tons of patterns really quickly. So I didn't want to take the time to sit down and put all of those pieces together to toile it and then go and then construct it. It just felt like a lot of work. Now I have grown and matured in my sewing journey, and so I can take on bigger projects now, and I have also learned to slow down my sewing quite a bit and just to sort of relax and enjoy the process. I'm not like banging out projects like a machine anymore. And so I might consider turning this one into the Jessica blazer. Or I might very well use something that I have used before. I have since then made other blazer patterns, or at least other like jacket patterns. But I really want this one to be like amazing in the outcome. So I'm going to give it a little bit more thought before I go ahead and cut into this denim. I think I got 3.5 yards just to be on the safe side. I feel like that is enough to get me a decent blazer, but it's going to be a long process. I'm going to have to toile that pattern and make sure I like the fit of the pattern before I risk cutting into this fabric. I think this was my most expensive fabric purchase. I can't quite remember how much it was. I think it might have been $20 a yard for this fabric, I think. And as I said, I got 3.5 yards because I want to be sure that I had enough to make my denim blazer. Now, those are all of the fabrics that I got for myself in Barbados. I did pick up a couple pieces for my brother's girlfriend who has recently embarked on her own sewing journey. I think she started early up this year. She's here for the holidays, and so I brought her back a couple pieces of fabric. I don't have them to show you, unfortunately, but just know I didn't only shop for myself this time, so I'm not as selfish as I once thought I was. Now, I do have a couple other pieces of fabric to show you, and I actually got them in the neighboring island of Antigua. Now, to get from Montserrat to go anywhere at all in the world, you have to first go to Antigua. Like, that is the norm. Montserrat, 20-minute flight to Antigua, and then the world is your oyster. So when I was in Antigua, I had a couple hours there, and I visited a store called Little B&J's. That is in the capital of Antigua in St. John's. Now, I only picked up 3 pieces of fabric in Little B&J's just because I feel like their fabric is quite pricey. Now, I know fabric is pricey generally, and when I buy my fabric from like the States or from the UK, it really is pricey, particularly since I'm spending US dollars or pounds as the case may be. But for some reason, when I'm buying it in local currency, Antigua happens to spend the Eastern Caribbean dollar, which is what we spend here in Montserrat. But I just felt like paying $60 for a yard of fabric. It just felt like a lot. $60 is like 20, maybe about 23 US dollars for the yard of fabric, which I have spent at Mood and on Style Maker Fabrics and whatnot. But for some reason, like in my mind, like handing over like $60 for 1 yard of fabric just felt like a lot to me. Anyways, so I ended up buying 2 pieces of fabric in Lycra. I hardly ever buy like knit fabrics. but I feel like I want to try another swimsuit. Now, I started a swimsuit earlier this year and it is still not finished, you guys. I had run out of elastic on that swimsuit to do the leg openings. I have since gotten the elastic, but I just haven't gotten back into completing that project. I have recorded footage and I'm going to share it here whenever I get around to it, but I've gone ahead and bought more swimsuit fabric, even though I haven't finished the other swimsuit that I started working on. Like, make it make sense, Chris. Like, make it make sense. I haven't even finished the swimsuit and yet I've gone ahead and bought more swimsuit fabric. Anyways, it's black and white. Oh, isn't this gorgeous? This black and white like marble print, I just found this to be super, super, super classy and sophisticated, and I feel like this will make for a sexy swimsuit. And so I picked up just 1 yard of it. I'm hoping that with the 1 yard I'll have enough to cut out both the main swimsuit fabric and the lining. I do think I prefer like a lined swimsuit. I've never made an unlined swimsuit before. I don't think so. Did I make an online swimsuit? Like, I've only ever made 2 swimsuits. I made the Megan Nielsen cotton sew swimsuit last year as my very first swimsuit, but I can't remember if I lined it. And then, of course, I made that new look swimsuit that I'm telling you about that I started earlier this year and still have not finished. So I feel like they're both lined. Anyways, I'm hoping that I can line this swimsuit. And again, I bought just 1 yard of this lycra, and I really, really, really love this marble print fabric. Now, if you guys have any pattern suggestions for swimsuits that you like, please be sure to share them with me in the comment section down below. Now, I'm not averse to wearing a bikini, but I do prefer to have like a one piece. I just feel like the way my body has changed over the last couple of years with having kids, I'm not as confident in my body as I once was. And so I do prefer to have a one piece, although I'm not averse to wearing a 2-piece once I like the fit and the shape of that pattern. So if you guys have any swimsuit patterns that you are particularly fond of, please drop them down below in the comment section, especially since I have another piece of swimsuit fabric. This one I really, really, really like. I came across like this tie-dye like swimsuit fabric and I just thought this was gorgeous. Some of these colors are my colors, some are not, but too bad because I really do love this fabric. Again, I feel like this will make for a really pretty swimsuit. So if you have any suggestions on swimsuit patterns that utilize a yard or less of fabric, then drop them down below in the comment section. Now, the final fabric that I need to share with you guys is this one. I think this is called plissé, just a pleated fabric, you know, those pre-pleated fabrics. And I saw this in the store and I fell in love with it. Again, it has purples and blues in it, which are my colors. It does have a little bit of orange, which I'm just going to ignore, but I thought that this was beautiful. Now, I do have another piece of this type of fabric in my stash somewhere. I think it was like something with gold and maybe it was sparkly. Like, I am vaguely remembering purchasing it. I haven't sewn it yet. I bought it to make one of those elastic waist skirts. I haven't made it. I don't know why I haven't made it. It's somewhere in my stash. I know I've gone ahead and bought another piece. I got, I think this is 2 yards. I washed it and I think I measured it and it measured up a little bit shorter than 2 yards once it was washed. And so I'm going to make a midi length skirt in this fabric. I just think it's gorgeous. I think all I'm going to do is to cut the fabric in half and then join my side seams together and then add some elastic at the waistband, and then I'll have myself a completed skirt. I think that is what I minded to do with this fabric. It really, really is beautiful, and I think it will give way to a lovely like mid-length skirt that I can wear with maybe like a camisole and a blazer if I want to dress it up, or just like a tank top if I wanted to just wear it more casually. But whatever it is, I know this fabric is going to become a skirt. Now, that is the last fabric in my bag. My bag is now empty, and now I'm going to have hills to sit down and refold all of the fabric that is now in a pile on my floor next to my chair. I hope it was worth unfolding all of my fabric to share with you guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Drop me a comment in the comment section down below and let me know which of my fabrics you loved and if you have any ideas for what any of these fabrics should become. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, then I would appreciate if you consider subscribing. I try to bring you content twice a week here on YouTube and a lot more frequently if you follow me also on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, now is the opportune time for you to go ahead over to the app and find me at unsocial and click the follow so that you can... Sorry, it felt like there was an ant walking on me. As I was saying, be sure to run on over to Instagram and follow me so that you can get more day-to-day progress on my makes, and follow me here on YouTube so you can see it when it all comes together. Now that is all I wanted to share with you guys today. Actually, one more thing. Today is Sunday and it was Emancipation Sunday at church, and we were encouraged to wear Ankara makes. Now it turns out that I had worn my Ankara dress to church last week Sunday because I did not know that we were going to be wearing Ankara this week Sunday. And so yesterday I spent the entire evening whizzing up this dress. It is the April dress by Forget Me Not Patterns. Now I do have a full video on that experience. I think it has already gone live here on the channel, so I'll drop it in here on the ID cards or perhaps down in the description box so you can run ahead and get all the tea on this make. Needless to say, I really love this Ankara fabric. I got it from a free clothing store and I think I might have shared it here with you guys in one of my previous hauls. I love the colors, I love the print of it, and I really love my finished dress. So again, be sure to run on over to that video so that you can check out my Forget Me Not April dress. I'll go ahead and pop a quick twirl right here so you guys can see just how beautiful this dress turned out, even though I made it at the 11th hour. Now that is all I needed to share with you guys today. So until next time, stay calm, stay cool, stay safe, and absolutely keep sewing. Peace.